Hello and welcome to another episode of the Full Force Weekly, brought to you by GeneralsJoes Reborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostik80. For today's episode, I'm joined by the awesome Justin GeneralsJoes Bell. In this regular video series, we round up all the week's news in the world of G.I. Joe. Full Force Weekly. I should look at the screen when I say that. I should look at the camera. Full Force Weekly.
I've got like 4 screens in front of me and I'm like, yeah.
What screens are you talking about? Okay, so first up in the news this week, let's check in with Regal Cobra Commander. In Demand Toys posted images earlier in the week showing the brand new classified Regal Cobra Commander in hand, so expect pre-orders to start fulfilling very soon. Justin, how excited are you to get this version of Cobra Commander in hand, in your grasp, finally?
Yes, I love it. I mean, this shows how all in on G.I. Joe Classified I am. I mean, it's just a repaint, but I'm still really excited for it. Yeah,
it's crazy,
I don't know
isn't
why,
it? It's like
but
every little release, it's just like, even that Scarlet and Roadblock that popped up the other day, the kind of re-deco. Yeah, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, I need them as well now. So yeah, it's hilarious.
Well, it's like, it was the same thing for me with Sigma 6 too, for whatever reason. They would release, dozens of Dukes and Snake Eyes. Some of them with very minor differences, and each one I was just like, oh, I can't wait to get that one with gray paint instead of blue paint.
Snake Eyes, the amount of Snake Eyes they released in Sigma 6 was mental. But what I really liked about it was because Sigma 6 was my kind of gateway back in to collecting G.I. Joe toys again. And I remember being in the US at the time, and it was like, I basically said to myself, there's no way I can collect all of it. There's no way I can collect all of it, so I'll just get Snake Eyes ones. And that grew a little, so I just kept collecting Snake Eyes ones, and by the end of it, I'm like, actually, this is a lot of stuff. And I had to transport it back when, that was back in the days when I was working on the summer camp in the summers in New Jersey, like for Camp America. Man. So it wasn't like we had loads of like luggage, to take back with us. So I had to pare everything down. But what was great about Sigma 6 was the little containers that were part of the packaging.
Yeah. I
loved that. They were great. That needs to come back for something, doesn't it?
Well, I would love that. That'd be really great. Well, I mean, Lenny kind of said the reason, one of the things about G.I. Joe Classified is they have a place for all the gear on the figure, which is great. But, if they don't, the opening trunks, little foam inserts.
It was so good. The foam insert. The foam insert was the best part of that, wasn't it? Because it was like, that's where the sword goes, and it's like, it's not going to rattle around in there. Oh man, I really, really like Sigma 6. And
forget about the news. Let's just talk about Sigma 6.
Yeah, let's talk about Sigma 6. This is the Sigma 6 burst now. We should do a Sigma 6 battle, like because obviously I've just posted FSS 6, which we recorded probably, I want to say like February or March, right?
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. It was
just
simpler
days.
Yeah, it was just as COVID had kicked off. So anyway, let's watch that. It's brilliant and hilarious, and also Adam's involved in that one. It's a good one. Justin, one last thing about Regal Cobra Commander. It's my favourite so far, and even though Snake Supreme is incredible, I love that one. I need that. There's something about that colour scheme that's just doing things to me. So yeah,
that bright blue is very vibrant. Yeah, it's really cool. Absolutely. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Very regal, you might say.
Very regal.
Okay, moving on then. In gaming news, PC gamers will be getting the same deluxe content that was offered with the console versions of G.I. Joe Operation Blackout. The extras will be available as additional content for the game via Steam and will be presented as 3 separate options should you not want some of it. The first option is the soundtrack and digital art book, the second option is the retro skins, and third are the G.I. Joe and Cobra weapons packs. I'm glad the PC version is getting the same treatment as the console games. You can look out for the game to be released on Steam on the 15th next week. Have you managed to use any of the additional content in the game yet, Justin? Have you been enjoying that at all?
I haven't actually used it in the... I mean, I've checked out some of the stuff that came with it, like the artwork and things like that. I haven't used anything like really within the context of the game itself. But
I have the weapons packs and I have the retro skins, but I, as yet, don't know how to implement them yet. But only because I haven't really looked. I don't. So yeah, I definitely want to try them out at the very least. But yeah, absolutely. In any case... Are you kind of happy now that the PC's finally got its kind of G.I. Joe game for it?
Yeah, I think it's good. It's good for people who are PC users, PC gamers. And, I've never really had a PC that was powerful enough to run a bunch of state-of-the-art games. Not that Blackout is necessarily especially state-of-the-art, but yeah, I'm not really a PC gamer. I'm much more of a console gamer. But yeah, for people who are PC gamers, I think it's a cool thing to have.
Last time I PC gamed, I think it was the Riddle of the Sphinx, and that is really showing my age because my goodness, look that one up, guys. Jesus.
In college, I was about Dune 2 and X-Wing when I was in college. I played the hell out of those two, but not much since then.
You should get back on it. We should do a stream of us playing really rubbish old school PC games. That'd be amazing.
Well, X-Wing I had to use like 13 different floppy disks, and I had to go in and like change a RAM setting in DOS and do all this stuff in order just to get it installed. It was ridiculous, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, that's the thing though, isn't it? There's still an amazing amount of fun attached to those. My mate had Shinobi, I think, on like Commodore 64 or something like that, and I remember playing that round there and just being like, yeah, this is awesome. Anyway, enough of our old school gaming chats. So obviously the PC version will be out on the 15th, like I said, and we have got links in the description for all of those different aspects if you are a PC gamer and you want to get direct links to those Steam options. Anyway, in Plush news, Symbiote Studios finally dropped their awesome and super adorable officially licensed G.I. Joe Cobra Commander, Snake Eyes and Timber plush toys this week, and you can order them via the links in the description as always. Cobra Commander is 12 inches tall and will cost you $24.99 I should say, whereas Snake Eyes and Timber will set you back $29.99 due to the extra Timber plush, who clocks in at 5 inches tall. I cannot recommend Symbiote products highly enough. I have Prime, Bumblebee and Soundwave from their Transformers. They are really high quality and super fun. Soundwave even has a removable eyepiece, and they all came with enamel pins of their faces too. So that's the same thing will be happening with the Joe plushies, and I cannot wait to get these in hand. Justin, what are your thoughts on the plushes?
I think they look awesome. Yeah, I mean, I haven't bought any of them yet, but I love that they're doing them. It's kind of like cross-genre appeal to it kind of shows you like when a brand reaches a certain strength, it can do stuff like that. And I think they've done some really cool things so far with what I've seen from the Cobra Commander and Snake Eyes. I think they're really neat. Also, Megatron was just revealed, I think, the other day. So I'll throw that one in there too. They've just revealed Megatron as well in the plush department, and they're so cute. I do have them not at hand. They're over there, and I can't be bothered to go and get them. But I'll flash images up. That's fine. They are great, though. They're so much fun, and they're really cute and adorable. And they have like kind of features almost. Soundwaves have got these like removable shades that just kind of come off. Well, like his eyepieces, really cool. It comes off. It's like an elastic, and then you've got like. In fact, Kate's going to go and grab them so I can show you on screen. Go. We are going to do there is going to be a little show and tell at the end because I did get some prezzies over the last couple of weeks, and for some reason I didn't shout out any of my family or friends who bought me presents for my birthday a couple of weeks back. Thank you, darling. Okay, so here we have Bumblebee. Look at that. Oh, nice. His little legs, his little leggies. That's Bumblebee. Big eyes. Those are bigger than I thought they were. They are. They're like 12 inches, I think. Hang on. Wow. Times it by 10. just line them up like 6 times on top of itself, Chris. There you go. Yeah. That'll tell you. Phoebe has just jumped up onto my lap, by the way, because she thinks these are toys for her to play with. Just as we were talking about that as well. Okay, here's Prime. He looks amazing as well. Look at that. Brilliant, awesome. Aren't they? Yeah, that's really cool. Again, I thought they were like Funko Pop size, like that big, but they're like big. These are massive. And here's Soundwave looking. If you take his little look at that. That is awesome. It's like he's got his sleep goggles on. He's like, I don't want to be disturbed. I'm going to bed. Operation Sleepy Time. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Okay, but actually the other thing on Soundwave, he's got his little his shoulder cannon, shoulder battery cannon, which is amazing, isn't it? Anyway, yes, these are beautiful, wonderful. Shout out to Symbiote because they do very amazing work, and they've been really nice. When I've been communicating with them over the last couple of months or so. So big shout out to those guys. And they double as dog toys, right? They double as getting Phoebe to jump up on my lap. But anyway, let's move on to some more to toy news.
In 12-inch toy news, that is, Threezero dropped a teaser image on their socials in the week showing off their brand new Threezero 12-inch Storm Shadow figure, and boy does he look good. This figure follows on from their recent Snake Eyes release and features original designs for the characters, multiple weapons and incredible detail. If Snake Eyes is anything to go by, then Storm Shadow will almost certainly come in at the same $149 price point and should be readily available in multiple places when they do release the figure officially. Justin, what are your thoughts on this beauty?
Oh, it's gorgeous. Man, I just really love what Threezero is doing with these 12-inch offerings. They look absolutely amazing. I mean, I pre-ordered the Snake Eyes pretty much immediately. I'll be pre-ordering Storm Shadow as well whenever he's available, and they look fantastic. You know, they mix and match some of the different, you know, fan favorite versions into kind of one all-encompassing sort of format. He's got some. It looks kind of like the old, you know, IDW version and Devil's Due version kind of rolled into one. He's got the hood from like the 88 version, but he's obviously very inspired by the classic. He's a very, very cool looking figure, and I would love it if they use this as sort of an aesthetic for his classified version too. I think it can be tough to get some of these iconic characters just right. You want to have that vintage homage, but you also want to reinvent them for, you know, modern times a little bit. And Threezero so far has been able to really nail that. They've done that with both Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and I'm really, really excited. Very cool looking.
100% agree on that, and I love the kind of additional, because like you said, there's a lot of design cues from previous times. Like you said, the hood, which we can see that it's soft goods, so that's going to be able to come up over his head, which is amazing. Yeah. He's got that kind of mask, so it's like the vintage. He's got the sleeveless, so it's like the vintage kind of, or like the sunbow. It's got like, there's loads of different aspects to it, but I love that kind of grey. It's kind of like detailing, like armor detailing on the torso, and you know, like there's other aspects on there too that I really like the grey elements on the kind of the balaclava mask and the again all over the body. There's lots of different grey aspects. That reminds me a little bit of that. I want to say it wasn't Retaliation. Was it? Yeah, it might have been one of the Retaliation or Rise of Cobra releases where he had little grey elements on that 4-inch version. Yeah, but there's all sorts in there, and I'm really and as well to see the hidden joints kind of style, like that Rambo.
Awesome. Yeah, the kind of skin covering over the articulation. Yeah, that's a really neat touch. And I wasn't sure about that at first, but you mentioned that Threezero did that for a Rambo figure or something.
Yeah, Rambo 3, I think it was. Yeah.
So, I'll be excited to see how that works.
You still get that kind of, you know, at the LB, you still get that kind of like almost a little bit of an unnatural flex, where like the kind of material bunches up, but it almost looks like, you know, like it's like almost like folded too far. But from what I hear, the Rambo figure is that, you know, it's quite successfully utilized on the Rambo figure. So
awesome.
Fingers crossed. That, I mean, he looks great. So display wise,
look good.
Yeah, that should be amazing. Good. Anyway, Threezero, that should be dropping very soon, really, because obviously they threw a teaser up about of Snake Eyes, and then it was very shortly after that it was everywhere pretty much. So expect more images of Storm Shadow very soon. And also one other little detail I did pick up. Well, one, he is wearing the Cobra sigil that is there on the left side of his chest, but on his back he's got a quiver with some arrows in it, as well as the 2 sword sheaths. So very likely that we'll see pictures of him with a bow very soon as well, which is pretty cool, isn't it?
Very cool. Yeah, I like the way he's shaping up.
Can't wait to see what that looks like. Anyway, more on that, in the coming weeks. Let's move on to some movie news, which cropped up very late last night. So Viacom President and CEO Bob Bakish recently spoke to the UBS Global Conference in regards to Paramount's movie slate for next year, and discussed the fact that they will not be giving the Snake Eyes movie a streaming option when it's released in theatres in October of 2021. He was posed the question after Warner Brothers decided to move all of their 2021 theatrical releases to same-day streaming on their own streaming network. Paramount will be sending some films to their own CBS All Access service, but Snake Eyes, A Quiet Place Part 2, Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible 7 will all have a limited theatrical showing initially. Justin, what are your thoughts on this decision, and do you think it's a good idea for them to at least see what the climate is like further into next year before making that that decision?
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is a little bit mixed. I mean, number one, I'm really happy that because Paramount said in kind of that talk that the reason there was those key movies weren't being done to streaming was because they consider them too important, too much of a franchise brand. And I'm excited that they consider Snake Eyes as part of that kind of bundle of franchise movies that they don't want to put on streaming service. Selfishly, I'd love it if they put it on a streaming service. I mean, I'm really excited for Wonder Woman 84 coming out on Christmas Day. And, I think that there's a lot of potential for some cool stuff with that. But I think it does make sense considering how much they're fast tracking this vaccine, and you just don't know what it's going to be like next October. Maybe, movie theaters will be, all the rage again, and it won't be such a big deal. So, I think it's probably the smart approach. I give Warner Brothers a lot of credit for taking that big step with all their 2021 movies. I think that's a pretty daring move. I think movie purists will still go to the theater. I think there will probably be some revenue drop off. I mean, I'm certainly going to, I don't know if I would have seen Wonder Woman 84 in the theater anyway. I might have waited till video on demand as it was, but I'm going to check it out on I'll probably watch it on Christmas Day. So a movie that normally I wouldn't see until maybe 5-6 months after it first came out, I'll actually be watching on release day, which is pretty cool. That's kind of my biggest frustration with sort of the whole movie theater streaming dynamic is that, I like the theater experience. I don't like a lot of the crowds and stuff like that. It's kind of a pain. Plus the theaters I have locally just aren't very good. So, I don't want to be spoiled about certain parts of the movie. So I feel like I kind of have to see certain films in the theater. I would like there to be a streaming option so I can watch it without having to go in the theater. I don't even mind paying for it if that's what it takes. But on the same side, at the same time, I know there's a big movement in Hollywood to kind of save the theater experience. I know there's a lot of people that work for the theaters, and you obviously don't want them losing their jobs or anything like that. So, if there's a way to kind of find a middle ground that satisfies both, I think that'd be perfect. But I think they're smart to not say anything now and to kind of keep it close to their vest. And I'm thrilled that they consider Snake Eyes valuable and important enough that they want to keep that theater experience. I think that says a lot for the film.
Oh yeah, absolutely agree with all of that. And I think that Paramount are almost in their decision here are kind of almost balancing out very similar kind of thing as you just mentioned. They're trying to keep a balance between, some movies that are just too big not to be seen in a theatrical sense. Like, how are you going to watch like Top Gun Maverick and not experience it in that like big, kind of big screen environment? It's I totally get where they're coming from with a lot of that stuff, but also they are putting stuff onto their streaming service, immediately. Right. So it's kind of like they're balancing just as it appears like that's what the world is going to need to do anyway. It sucks that we're in this position, but maybe by October of next year, it's going to be a completely different climate. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
And there is something to be said for the theatrical experience. I mean, the first time I saw the 2007 Transformers movie was at a BotCon and theater filled with Transformers fans. The first time I saw G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra, it was a charity screening down in Rhode Island with a bunch of G.I. Joe fans in attendance. I still remember watching Avengers Endgame, and when everybody started coming through the portal, like the entire theater just erupted in applause and cheers, which isn't, you don't get that effect at home. So there is something to be said for that. And I would really, Snake Eyes, I'd love to, like with you and some other Joe fans, go see it in the theater together and really enjoy that experience. So in that way, I think it's good that they're trying to keep hope for that alive.
Mate, we'll be at the premiere for the Full Force podcast. Obviously, it'll be the news burst.
Line us out to Hollywood, right? Yeah.
I'll be like, we'll be rocking up there with Henry. We're on first name terms. I call him Hen. I call him Hen. So
Hank?
That's how we roll.
Hey, Hank, what's going on, Hank?
Goldbug. Anyway, something else I didn't know. Speaking of Goldbug, his little wheel on the back of Bumblebee as well, the little spare tire thing. Forgot about that. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Yes, Justin, I agree with that. I think, Paramount are probably. I think to a degree they're also kind of keeping the cards close to the chest, which they tend to do, and they have been doing a lot recently, especially with Snake Eyes. My goodness, how is it? Thing, How is it that we're seeing trailers for stuff in 2022 and 2023 from like Disney, and still the only thing we have at the moment, and I made a joke about this in the last news burst, is I'm clutching that picture of him walking up the stairs really tightly now.
We found out 40 new things that are happening in Star Wars and Marvel yesterday in the span of an afternoon, and we still have no idea what's going on with Snake Eyes.
We even know Willow is happening, for goodness sake. It's just like, give us some. I'm waiting for we'll get the Inhumanoids trailer before we get the Snake Eyes one. In any case, super excited about it. I mean, it's only because we're really excited. That's the only reason for this. Exactly. But we'll continue to be. I'm just thinking about what we did the other day when we were watching the Henry Golding Larry Hama interview. We did it twice. And we were ready to go live just in case anything happened. I know. We're ready to go live just in case. And we're watching it and we're recording everything. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, so they're not, no trailer, no new footage. We're like, okay, see you later, mate. Take care.
Yeah. 2 hours of our lives we're never going to get back. But
true. But again, it was actually, to be honest, it was a really nice interview and quite fun. And it was nice to see them both in that, in that way. But anyway, you're right. Let's move on, Justin. That's the end of the news segment, as it were, and let's get into shout-outs. This is a funny one. I'm going first. Give you some time to think about who to shout out.
I never have anything, and I feel terrible.
Well, I have to make a big apology here because last week, for some reason, I completely forgot to thank my wonderful wife, Kate, who's looking at me now. And the family, the extended family and friends, for a lovely 40th birthday and lots of fun prezzies. Yes, yes, ladies and gentlemen. I know I don't look it, but yes, I do.
I know you don't act it, but
I don't. You're right. I don't wear the clothes that would suggest I'm 40, but I is. And yes, so it was a lovely time, and it was so lovely I forgot to mention it on the show. Just kidding. But a couple of things I want to shout out. Obviously, I got a wonderful record player, which is behind me, from Kate. Beautiful kind of vintage record player, which we've been kind of, enjoying the G.I. Joe soundtrack and the Transformers soundtrack and the TMNT 1990 movie soundtrack on a regular basis. So that's really awesome. And also, something I really do want to point out, Adam Riches sent me a little package as well. So thanks to Adam. And I have to show this off because it's hilarious. First off, he sent me this. Isn't that just genius? This is a card, full 40. I won't say what's inside. Maybe I can. He says, Chris, AKA Diagnostik80 in brackets, in a country founded by English defectors, you're my favourite one, which I think is hilarious. So, yeah, have a 5 potatoes kind of day, which I did. And that's, I won't read anything else out because it's rude. I'm kidding, it's not that bad. And anyway, he sent me these amazing things. He sent me a vintage set of Jurassic Park pencils. Isn't that adorable? Isn't that adorable?
That's
Actual
awesome.
vintage as well. These are from 1992. And there's the proof there. Yeah, and you can scan the barcode just in case you don't believe me.
You're probably older than half your listeners here.
There you go. A little happy birthday, Leonardo. Isn't that beautiful?
Nice.
Eating his pizza. And he actually sent me this as well, which is amazing. This is my favourite part of it. Actually, it wasn't. I've got another thing which Kate will have to grab for me off my display of micro machines over there in a sec. But look at this. The sticker sheet from Walmart. Look at that.
Nice.
Look at those. They're actually really nice as well. Like, I'm really, really impressed with these. So awesome. That was really cool. Thank you, darling. And finally, he sent me this. Now, I did actually show this, I think, on last week's show. And this is a Micro Machine set with the Chase figure in there. Look, can you see that?
Ooh, very nice.
Silver Chase figure. So yeah, thanks again for these, Adam. That was a lovely little 40th package there. Really enjoyed it. So that's my 40th birthday shout-outs. Big shout out to my family who bought me some lovely things as well. To Kate's mum and dad, Kate's side, who got me some lovely stuff, which is kind of is being utilised at the moment. It's everywhere. It's like mugs and shirts and stuff. So thank you to those guys for lovely, and tea, loads of tea, because obviously I'm British, so I have tea. Like fancy tea. I'm not talking like they just bought me a box of Yorkshire tea. They got me loads of gorgeous things. So love you guys.
You got to go to Boston and throw it all in the harbour.
not that kind of tea party, Justin Bell. Any shout outs for you, mate?
Yeah, well, I do want to shout out to the fine folks at Kokomo Toys who sent us a bunch of different things that we gave away on the last couple of episodes of the Full Force, and I just shipped all those figures out, so congratulations to the winners, and should be getting your packages shortly, so shout out to Kokomo Toys. Also, shout out to Boss Fight. I just want to say I get my kids' advent calendars every year, but this is the first year that I've actually had my own, so it's a big shout out to Boss Fight. It's a very clever way to move products to us shameless people who buy everything they produce. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun waking up every day and opening the new door and pulling out baseball bats and golf clubs and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So
was it an iPad or something today?
Yesterday was the iPad. Today was the baseball bat, golf club, and like little spiky bracelet thing.
Oh, I need to. Okay, well in that case we're behind. I need to open that. It's. Mate, I love those advent calendars. An amazing job there. As I said at the start of the show as well, Symbiote Studios, big shout out to those guys for being really awesome. In Demand Toys, Nick and Mass, I want to shout out those guys too, because they've obviously doing a great job in the UK for getting Hasbro products out to the UK. So, amazing shout out to those guys too. And one last thing I want to mention, Justin and I appeared on we were invited to a Hasbro round table earlier. About a week and a half ago, was it now, Justin?
Yeah, I think so. A week ago, Thursday, I think. A week ago yesterday, maybe.
We got a chance to sit down with Lenny Panzica, Mark Mayer, and Ben from marketing, Ben Montano, I think it is. Big shout out to those guys for being just super, really nice and open and answering our questions.
Great conversation,
and stuff like that. It was really, really cool, wasn't it? Obviously they are working hard to improve on certain aspects of what happened this year. Obviously COVID has hit them pretty hard, so they're doing their best to kind of pivot and move around all those kind of situations. So yeah, big shout out to that. I mean, it was really nice as well to get an invite to there were loads of people involved as well, like from all sorts of different news platforms, kind of press and stuff like that. So it was really nice to get the invite and to be kind of considered G.I. Joe newsworthy. So that was really nice of them. And yeah, again, great to chat to the designers. It was weird as well, wasn't it, Justin? Because we're both like sitting there, like talking, messaging each other, kind of not really together, but together because it was you're all on this display of a Zoom screen,
right?
And you get like your opportunity to answer the questions in a row, don't you? So it was quite a surreal experience, really. Yeah,
it was really interesting. Yeah, I mean, I know you see these, and it's interesting. This year is different than past years. I mean, anybody who's been a Joe fan kind of going on through the years, you didn't really know these guys unless you went to JoeCon or something like that, and you often met them face to face. But just because they've been doing all these videos and stuff, you see them talk, you kind of feel like you get to know them. So it was really interesting kind of having that one-on-one interaction. Like, well, yeah, I'm used to seeing, Mark talk about the G.I. Joe retro figures, but I'm not used to actually being able to kind of exchange information with him and offer things. And that was a really great experience, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to potentially doing it again in the future, I'm hoping. But they're very, like you said, open with their answers, very honest, very transparent. And it's very interesting to kind of hear sort of some of their sides of how what sort of challenges 2020 has given them. It hasn't spared anybody. So they've obviously been dealing with launching a brand new toy line in the midst of all of this, and the fact that they've been able to do it so successfully is pretty remarkable in spite of what folks may think about distribution and availability and stuff. There's reasons for all that stuff. So just in the kind of year that we've had, it's pretty impressive that they've been able to get G.I. Joe Classified at the level of success that they have, considering all the obstacles that have kind of been thrown in their way. And I think 2021 in many ways will hopefully be looking better than 2020 was, and I think G.I. Joe Classified will kind of be a part of that brighter tomorrow, so to speak. As silly as that sounds, comparing a global pandemic to our favorite toy line, that seems a little ridiculous. But I really think that the next year everybody will be lifted up a little bit, and I think we'll see some good changes and good forward progress with G.I. Joe Classified as well.
I absolutely agree. Couldn't have said it better myself. Literally couldn't. That was perfect. And also, again, thanks to Hasbro for being great on that front. And before anyone messages us to ask what stuff did you find out, we didn't get given inside top secret information. It was just literally a round table to ask some questions and get some feedback. So it was that we don't know any more than anyone else does at this point. After that, just that there was all that information's been distributed anyway. It's all come out. Right. Anyway,
we kind of gave them some information. They that was the same day of those repaints showed up, and they were like, "What are you talking about?"
That was hilarious.
We were the one giving them leaks.
I know people are saying yeah, some people have been sharing these, and I'm like, I shared it. I found it. I'm the one sharing it, guys. I know what's going on here. That was really funny. And Lenny kind of being like, hang on, what happened? I'm like, you're on the line. Anyway, that was brilliant. And so big shout out to Hasbro again. Justin, mate, thank you for jumping on for another Full Force Weekly. I really enjoy these. These are my favourite things to do, I think, so far.
I love it
because it's all well and good, getting a bit of news out there for as a quick report. But honestly, this is being able to discuss those stories and actually go into a bit more detail. Far more interesting for people, I think, as well.
Good stuff.
Is it though?
I think so.
Well, are you the only one that watches this? Are you that one?
I think
you're
so.
The one viewer, right?
Yeah.
Well, you do
that
sponsor
one
the
view
show.
you get on YouTube is me. Yeah, but I'm just fast forwarding to my parts.
I'm pretty sure you're the one person that keeps giving me a thumbs down and everything. I was always one thumbs down, and I'm like, yeah, that's Justin, definitely. If you are watching and you are that one person, thanks. It still goes through as a reaction, I guess. So there's passion there. It's hateful, but there's passion there. Anyway,
exactly.
That brings us to the end of another thumbs down episode. Thank you for watching the Full Force Weekly. Massive thank you to my awesome co-host, Justin Bell. See you next time. And as always, you know the drill, Justin. 1, 2, 3. Full Force. Perfect.
Yeah, nailed it.
Competition time! Congratulations to Rob Osborne for winning last week's competition for a brand new copy of the latest standard edition G.I. Joe animated series vinyl record album. Rob's favourite scene from the Sunbow cartoon was where Snake Eyes sacrifices himself for the team in The Mass Device Part 2, and then he and Scarlet both touch the glass that's separating them. Congratulations, Rob, that is a doozy. No prize on this week's show, but have no fear, we'll be back next week for a very special giveaway. Full Force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @The Full Force, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/The Full Force, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback or questions. We have also started a Patreon page, so if you want to see your name up in lights on these videos or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast or click the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.